show, even if technically today is Friday, because we are webcasting live from the Social Contact Club in Kingman, Arizona. And exactly it is Friday afternoon around 6 o'clock Arizona time. But this show that you are going to listen on the air, it will be broadcast on Sunday. Now, can you hear from my tone of voice that I'm pretty, I don't want to call it, say the word tired, but I am tired. After all, I had a nightmare trip from Virginia just 48 hours ago, and it wasn't exactly funny because not only I don't like flight anymore much, especially when you have to wait and get up very early. But the point is, the flight itself, it's a nightmare. It used to be fun. I remember when I was in my 20s, going around the world, flying everywhere. That was great. Great time on the planes, meeting people, socializing, shaking hands, dates. I was wild at the time. Eating, drinking. Oh my God. Now, United, and I'm talking about United Airlines. You go to the airport. First of all, you're going to start to realize that you don't live in America anymore. This is like, some sort of a Nazi camp. Okay. Everybody stare at you, and God forbid you don't have your useless Chinese piece of filth mask. Man, you better go rob a bank. I think you're gonna be a better treatment. They look at you like, wow, after all, you can be forgiven. But if you don't wear the mask, you are filthy, selfish, subhuman being. And you know what? I just ignore it. And I went to Las Vegas, and I had my little Chinese piece of filth, you know, tablecloth in my wallet just in case, because I knew I'm gonna need it. But in Vegas airport, I was the only one, and I say sadly, because I don't pay much of any type of joy to be that. But I was the only one in the airport without a mask until I get to the famous United Airlines uh, check-in. That you go into the get your ticket. And then, of course, when you get close to the personnel, they start to stare at you. Where is your mask? Okay, one second. Here we go. Shut them up because you can play with those people. They blackmail you, they blacklist you, they put you, they call you. I mean, that's gonna be a terrible night. And now it's federal law. Every 30 minutes, 30 minutes, I think every 5 minutes on the speaker, because of federal law, you must wear your mask. For what I understand, I never heard about any type of legislation action from Congress. If they consider a federal law, the Mr. Biden, the man, and this is, by the way, whatever I say in this show, it's me, Gianluca Zanna. Please don't blame it on my guest because I'm pretty outspoken, not exactly politically correct. So let me spell it out. Biden is a pedophile, Chinese puppet trader with dementia. So if that subhuman piece of trash thinks just because he opens his mouth, it's the law, guess what? It's time to ignore the law. Because last time I checked, we didn't leave. Our founding fathers and our people before us, men and women, they didn't fight the revolution because some subhuman pedophile can tell us that he's king again. So I ignore it for many reasons. So anyway, story short, on the plane was a torture because at the beginning, of course, you comply. You need to go in that plane. I need to get to the part of the world for my business. But then I say, I cannot really go through this torture. I start to suffocate. After 20 minutes in the air, I couldn't breathe. I'm not used to it on top. I never done this damn mask in all this year. Mojave County, I'm still pretty lucky. This place, even with all this BS from the mayor and the county, I never wore the mask. But on the plane, you can mess around because now the stewards and the hostess, they are the new capo. In the time of the Nazi, the capo, they were the people from your own tribe, let's say you're a Jew, and it was a Jew too. But he has some sort of a special privilege. He can put you in jail or he can, knock you down. So then now the stewards and hostess with a little power trip, they can see you. And this moment that they saw me, you don't wear the mask properly. You must put the mask completely covering your chin and your nose. Okay.
At that point, you have to put a peanut in your mouth so they leave you
Exactly.
alone.
Exactly. So no, seriously, this is by the way, this is my Gannuscio. Now I'm going to introduce him very soon. He's my guest today. So anyway, short story. I played the game of the mask the first 20 minutes. Then I realized, and I already had this experience a few months before, that there is a magic trick to avoid this torture for 5 hours. It's called food and drink. Because mysteriously, when you start to open your mouth and shove food in your mouth and the cheap coffee that they offer, the virus is not dangerous anymore. So I was so relief, so relief. So immediately the same, I don't want to use words that we can be, FCC not compliance. I think I can say bitch though. Yeah, I remember that. That bitch of a hostess. By the way, I bet my ass she voted for Biden. She looks the profile I was having all down. I square it down. I see the way she talks and she looks at me. She can smell me that I wasn't one of her zombies. So anyway, the same one that she woke me up while I was sleeping because I was so tired, you know. And after 20 minutes on the air, I got my mask, okay, just to shut him up. I need to sleep. But I forget my nose. I forgot my nose a little bit out because I couldn't breathe. And I started somebody touching my shoulder. And I'm ready to punch. Somebody touched me while I'm sleeping. I go in a little bit of a panic mode. And lucky she didn't get slapped. You gotta wear your mask properly. You gotta wear. Okay, calm down. Nobody died. Okay. Since you're here, do me a favor. Go grab me a cup of coffee. So she came. I said two, please. Okay. Now do your job. I doing mine. I got my mask as you wish. Now go get me two coffees. She bring me the coffee. Now magically the mask can come down. And I smile and I start to drink. And I'm like very calm. I speak fast, but I drink coffee very slow. So anyway, the coffee lasts for about 1 hour each cup. After the second hour, Mike, I started to get sick. The coffee was really terrible. I hate that coffee. By the way, if you want to really drink a great coffee, you should buy Zanna Coffee. Go to www.zannacoffee.com, the best organic coffee. And in this way, you will support the show. Yes. Back to the coffee story. And we cut it off. So after 2 hours of coffee, I say, I'm tired to play this game with the coffee. And I was falling asleep. And I couldn't fall asleep with the hands full of cup. I mean, with a cup in my hand, because at that point, I would make a mess. I was really tired. I haven't slept for days almost, been working physically. So, story short, I say, you know what? I think I'm ready to vomit. So, I get in front of me, there is a little bag, it's called the vomit bag. So, give me 2 bags, please. Why? Because I'm ready to vomit a lot. So, I was holding literally 2 bags, the same bitch that she was, ready to send me to jail because I was sleeping without the mask completely, sealed in my nose. She bring me to another bag because I said, I'm ready to throw up. And I warn you, stay away. I said, why? Because I do projectile explosion. And I heard that vomit in closed environments can be very chaotic. Then you gotta clean. She never talked to me anymore. She left me alone for 3 hours, the last of the trip. And I was dozing. All I had to do is sleep, but with holding this piece of bag, close to me, and just let it go. So that's so much for the coronavirus and President, my ass, Mr. Biden, the Chinese puppet pedophile. Here we go. Now, let's talk about my guest tonight. And as I said, please, if you are anybody out there that want to take it on Mr. Mike Gannuscio, my guest, just because he's there to be here with me tonight, guess what? I don't believe in collective sense of guilt. I'm the one speaking here. My name is Gianluca Zanna, and I stand proudly behind every word I just told you. And there is more to come. Don't worry about it, okay? So anyway, Mr. Mike Gannuscio is my guest. Good evening, Mike. How are you?
Good, sir. Thanks for having me.
Very good, Mr. Gannuscio. And I like to call you Mike, if you allow me to. I follow you the last few years. You've been running for Mojave County Sheriff. And I don't want to go too much into the elections because, that's part of the past. Tonight is going to be to know you more as an American person, a person also who served the community as a law enforcement and also as a businessman. Because, after all, here, differently from the government, the average person who works for someone or has to invent or create a job. And I think these are very challenging times for small businesses. And I like to sometimes share and feel the pain and the joys of other fellow Americans that they are, creating the wealth of this country. After all, this is not about three big corporations. Most of the prosperity of this country was created of small little mom and pop businesses that they really put their heart and soul in creating things from their garage sometime, and that's why I always fascinated because I had the opportunity to be humbly a part of this country. I wasn't born here, and I came here 22 years ago, and I still feel, that 22 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, America was still completely different place from what we are living today. And 20 years is nothing compared to what things could have happened. So I'd like to talk to you about a little bit about everything you want to let people know you a little bit more about yourself, because I also know you are a political man. That means political means that you want to be part, you're part of this community. I hate the word community, it sounds like communism. But anyway, part of the county, and you always try to give you input, and you, especially when you were running for sheriff, you were truly try to do, you make the difference in some areas, okay? So let me, you introduce yourself. Mike Gannuscio, tell us about you. And by the way, yes, it's Gannuscio. That's thing I can guarantee you guys. I got the right accent there, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. You can give the Anglo-Saxon way, but when it comes down to Italian last name, I have a PhD, at least on that, okay? Okay, go ahead.
I can tell you a lot of people have a lot of problems with that last name.
Not me. I can go wrong with Irish, English, German, but with that, I'm good. Go ahead, Mike. Whatever you want to say, introduce yourself, please.
Well, I'm Mike Gannuscio. I moved to Mojave County. I think this is going to be my 21 years here. Uh, I was a I was a deputy sheriff here for several years. I got hurt on the line of duty. I had to have surgery, and it was a career-ending surgery. So when I left the sheriff's office, broke, I had to figure out something to do. So I started my own company, and now my company is basically four entities. We have a feed store here in Golden Valley, and I have a ranch north of Kingman. I got a farm down in Parker. I got a trucking company that runs all over the state. So
Wow, that's pretty
we've
amazing.
uh, we've definitely been diversified and lucky to have the community support.
That's great. That's great. And I like those stories because 20 years, if you think about it, for some big business maybe nothing, but for an individual, a family, it's like half of your life. And you see in front of your eyes something from a little seed, an idea, a dream, becoming a little plant and then become a tree, something you can pass on maybe to your next generation, your next sons and daughters. So this is amazing. That's why I'm always so passionate when I see government interfering. For you work all your life so hard to create something, and all they want to do tax you even after you leave something behind, from your home to whatever you have. This is the essence of communism, by the way. Nothing is really yours. So I don't know much about you, but I knew enough that I voted for you, by the way. Now we can say that.
Thank you.
Okay, so since normally I don't like to go through when there is a political elections, if I have a position as a host, I don't care if three people listening to me, but I like to keep it kind of neutral whenever I can. But the election is gone. Yeah, I voted for you, and I'm sorry you didn't win. But regardless, now the point is, I like to know more a little bit about you, especially not just from the sheriff point of view, but also the way you think, what you think about the direction this country right now. And as I said, the statement I made before about the pedophile Chinese, blah blah blah. That's me talking. Okay, so in case one day you want to use it against Mr. Gannuscio, don't do that. It's not gonna fly. But tell me, what do you think about the pedophile Chinese puppet with dementia?
I think he's given our country away.
All right. Yeah.
We're definitely in for a big change. We're definitely in for a lot of troubles. Just from the business standpoint of it, I mean, they're giving money away, and they're
Mm-hmm.
giving money away that we can never get back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of loans, et cetera, et cetera, but the economy's going up. Everything's just getting outrageous. Um, from the business standpoint, my fuel's up 20 cents a gallon, which just drives the price up for everything else. You burn $14,000 a month in fuel, 20 cents a gallon's a lot. And then you got, my farm, my chemicals are up 30%.
Wow.
All it's going to do is hurt the consumer. And we don't want to hurt the consumer. I started this business because I couldn't, uh, I couldn't get feed for our rescue animals, et cetera. And I wanted something that was cost affordable. And when I started doing all this, I focused on taking care of the ranchers and the local people. And the only way to keep that cost down is, for me to put in my tooling to it, so I can tighten the numbers. And we have. When I first started hauling hay in Kingman, it was 17 to $18 a bale, and
Wow.
we haven't gone over $16 a bale since I started hauling it here.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of
But it's
money.
going up.
Yeah, always going up. I mean, I used to buy few just for my chickens, and I had little goat. I mean, that was my budget was, wow, what's going on here? Everything's going up. But what he said, this is people. it's beyond political parties. Sometimes I think, people, we are so trapped between this red and blue crap, Democrats and Republic. It's about, for me right now, first of all, between treason and you are standing behind the country, number one. But even before we go, you're not patriotic. Let's say you have just like a rat, okay, that you understand the boat is sinking and you own this boat. Even if you are a Democrat, how can your logical mind allow that this is okay? Why you don't have the billions and trillions of Bill Gates, you don't have the billions of all these other elite that they're pushing this agenda. You still have to go to war for living, maybe even more than just some small business owner. You have a fixed income probably. And how can you, and I'm talking to a potential Democrat. Normally, I don't even talk to you guys. I rather to talk to a rock. It's easier. But my point is, how can you conceive the fact that this is okay? Forget about the parties for a moment. We're talking about common sense, Mike. I mean, you said the gas. We had like 4 months ago, like what, $2 a gallon. Now it's going to three or three and a half. California already five.
Don't forget in that $3 to $5 a gallon, the 100,000 jobs that were thrown in the trash while we
Mm-hmm.
did it.
Yep, yep. And that's the point. So how can people from, I don't want to call it the other side, this freaking Democrat mind control side. I mean, how can they live with that? And then you go shop and you realize the inflation. I mean, I was just listening to some mainstream news today. Another $1 trillion being gonna be printed out of thin air from the private Federal Reserve, and we all know that it's a scam anyway. But our debt is real. Our inflation is gonna be real. And now I go shopping and I see prices of food, going up 10, 15% like that. I mean, this is not just some thing happens all in Venezuela. Venezuela was just the model, and we are repeating the same model here. So
We are.
do you agree with me? Or am I too extreme? I'm thinking all this stuff. I'm a paranoid guy because sometimes I hope to be. At least prove me that I'm paranoid. I'm happy with that.
No, I agree. I feel we're going the wrong way. We are just we need to tighten the reins back up. We need to stop giving all this money away. The country can survive,
Yeah.
but it's not.
The
It's not.
sad thing, as much as I think Mojave County, it's a better place than many other parts of the world.
It
Truly,
is.
it is. Sometimes people think, "Oh my God, I hate this place." Guess what? You haven't seen the rest. I've been in Virginia just like a few days ago. Forget about the governor of Virginia; it is another ass. Okay, but that's another story. You go around, it looks like 1984. I mean, you still have Mandate Musk in every place. And just the beginning. I mean, it's a place really here. We have a little bit of a pocket of peace, but regardless that, we're gonna pay the consequences of this federal craziness coming down because this guy is gonna put us in economy bankruptcy, and not even going. I mean, going with the wars. I mean, we're gonna go probably. They're gonna try push war with China, Russia, and everything else.
Well,
So
it's not even to me so much what they're doing to us. It's what they're doing to my kids and my grandkids.
exactly,
And they didn't start this, but they're going to have to pay for it.
you're right. You're right, Mike. This is the things that drive me crazy. Should be illegal. Should be legal. Like nobody can force you into a debt for something I never used. I was even born. Like tomorrow, Mike, hey, I'm gonna buy a brand new truck, $100,000. Guess what? Mike is gonna pay. I mean,
Yeah.
when he comes later. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. Mike, anything you want to tell us about anything? This is, remember, on the show we have no any type of pre-planned questions. We don't have any type of censorship. If you want to bring facts that may be very controversial, I welcome you. And I have, our members from the audience. In the past, I used to have calls. Now I don't. I have people in the audience. They can come. They want to ask a questions. Anything goes. I just ask, please. We have FCC basic, etiquette. So if you want to say cuss words, we can't. You can say them outside if you want to, but not on the microphone, because otherwise, I need to edit. It takes a long time. I don't like that. So, but if you have any question for Mike, please go ahead, or any type of suggestion, Mike yourself. My goal today is to talk about a little bit about what's going on in this country, what's going on in this county, without any type of filters, and of course, finding some solution because we can smash our head all day long, and maybe there are no solutions right now in the immediate for the bigger plan like the federal level. But I believe Mojave County, so much good we can do. Don't you agree with me, Mike?
I do. You can see the influx change. Look at the people coming to Mojave County.
Yep.
The housing market's through the roof. You can't buy land anywhere. People are buying houses before they're on the market and offering more than they're worth just
Hmm.
to get the peace of mind knowing they're not stuck under the thumb of the big cities. And out here you can have your own cows, you can have your own sheep, you can have your own water. You're not in control, or you're not under control of the metropolis.
Yep.
So
And also another thing, because there are rural part of America, even in California, you know that. I mean, California is beautiful. I mean, there's a lot of nice rural area. I remember last step I did, I was in Apple Valley, But the problem is not just the rural area, is the politics people are embracing, or maybe just, without even knowing, signing in. For example, even Arizona is under attack, not just from the people voting, that would be bad enough, but from foreign interferences. For example, and I don't know what you know, Mike, and probably you know, but I'm just assuming that is new. You ever heard about the United Nations plan called Agenda 21?
um, vaguely.
Vaguely, and that's good because that's part of the show. I bought some books a few years ago that I gave also to some of the county supervisors 5 years ago. It was exactly about Agenda 21. Let me give you the short story, okay? And there is so much documentation, and I like to do that because every one of us, after you say, "Wow, that stuff is true," you now realize that the big picture is bigger than just some politicians being little stupid or being little corrupted. It comes from the top. In this case, the top is world government. United Nations in the 1993 or something, they come out with this great idea, and I've been sarcastic, that humanity must comply to a global plan to control their resources. That means water, food, everything, minerals, they are no more in private hands. Everything must be controlled by the state. And in this case, state government from world government. So let's say, for example, you're a farmer. How dare you be a farmer and be in control of what you can produce? How dare you to have your little well to get your water going? How dare you to be able to maybe build your little shack somewhere on the land that you already paid and you keep paying every year this extorted racket called taxes? How dare you? This is not your right. This is global communism. Agenda 21 put the essence of everything that you have no more control as an individual or any resources. It sounds like a crazy idea, and it is, but it's real. So much that they implemented at the local level through the different states and world, two different agencies. The agency that works around the world is called ICLEI, ICLEI. And there are already some counties in the state of Arizona, like Maricopa County, like Flagstaff, and some other parts, that they are voluntarily, they're politicians, or because they've been paid off, my humble opinion, of course, or because they are so stupid they really believe that crap, they're embracing it. How does it apply to the regular person? Through code enforcement. So right now, next time you have, for example, a county that says, yeah, we go for United Nations Agenda 21, they're not going to call it United Nations. They call it sustainable. Cities. Say again? Sustainable cities. Yes, sustainable. They call it sustainable sound good. The bottom line is sustainable means that you're going to eat from now on no more regular meat, but you're going to eat now meat maybe once a week. Because they believe that you cannot do that to the environment. You cannot have meat as much as you can afford. By the way, don't worry about, we got a fake meat, the one from Bill Gates, Soylent Green coming soon. Okay? So this is the agenda, it's true. So much in California, you cannot have any more access to drilling wells. In Germany, for example, since starting from the next year, the new regulatory plans from the cities, you're not allowed anymore to build a single home, single family home, because that's against the environment. The idea is to live like in Hong Kong, in China, you see in these big flats, like it's like, big skyscrapers with a little 200 square feet apartments. No more access to ground to grow your little vegetables. By the way, if you want vegetable, guess what? You're gonna eat only the GMO crap that Monsanto is cranking out. So this is scary stuff. And at the beginning, the first time I heard 20 years ago, I said, oh my God, this must be some conspiracy stuff. It is all true. It's all documented. It's all now on the open. And that's why I say this is the way we should start to prepare our local, state, city, and county elected people to be informed, because they're going to be the instruments that will be used to enforce this plan. This is the final tyranny. Mike, if tomorrow I tell you, by the way, how many cows do you have? You have cows?
I have cows.
How many? Just a number.
Over 100.
Okay, guess what? Too many. You don't need all these cows. Okay? Do you also make milk, maybe? Produce?
No.
No. Okay, that's good because you don't need to make milk. And I'm not kidding. In Italy, I had a friend of mine before I left in 2000. Italy just became part of the European community. And now they're under European laws. And the European community, some little worm in Brussels, bureaucrat, not even elected, decides, they call the quota, how much milk each farm can produce. And my friend says, screw that. I make as much milk as I can sell.
Absolutely.
He got raided by the police. That's it. That's the new fascism, technocracy. The European community decide that every farmer, according to the number of animals, you must produce a certain amount of gallons of milk. If you go over, you will be paying fines. If you don't pay the fines, the guy say, I refuse to pay fines. 6 months later, military police, carabinieri, bang, and kill his cows.
Hmm.
No, even during Nazi Germany, this stuff used to happen. At least the Nazis, they were a little sharper, say, okay, make milk, make money so we get paid too. Okay? This is the global government. Now, United Nations, this is what it's about. They will decide what type of access you have. Now, do you ever notice that BLM, and I'm not talking about, they want to be black stuff. I'm talking about BLM, even worse, the government BLM, how you say, Bureau land. Yeah, sorry, sometimes. Okay. They're shutting down a lot of trails in Havasu, in different parts of the country. Oh, no, no, this is not good for you. Oh, no, 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 the mine, you cannot have access anymore to mine. Now, especially with this pedophile from China.
I don't know if it's true, but I heard things like Arizona Department of Transportation and Bureau of Land Management are controlled by foreign entities.
Something, I tell you something. I don't know everything, but I tell you one
The
thing.
money that we borrowed on the property and then we turn around and give them back money for.
Well, we will
When
talk about
borrow
that
money,
with
they
control.
charge us interest.
Even technically now, we may say it's controlled by Washington. For me, Washington at this point is a foreign entity. When we have somebody like Biden that officially is working for a foreign country, because that's for me, I have all the evidence I can see. This guy is not doing the interest of the American people. And we have enough evidence his son and himself, they're connected to China. I truly believe that everything is coming from that place. It is not for us. What do you think, Mike? Am I too extreme, maybe?
You're extreme. I'll give you that. I don't think the American people would stand for that.
Well, I hope so too, Mike. But meanwhile, what would happen if tomorrow, like for example, with the bandits, you remember the bandits?
I do.
Yeah, I was there, by the way, talking about extreme, and I was reporting the news, and I was very proud to try to help the family in the moment they were taking over their stuff. So my point is still, that can happen to you tomorrow.
It can.
Because tomorrow they can say, Mr. Gannuscio, guess what? Your grazing fees, they go up now 1,000%. Because after all, the meat that you're producing is really bad for the environment. Right? They can do that.
They could try.
Yeah, I know. But the point is, you already pay grazing fees. Are they charging you for grazing fee from the BLM?
They do.
Okay. So they can also increase the fee. There is a point they can do that legally. All they need to do is keep taxing. They say, okay, no gun restriction. You're just going to pay $1,000 for tax for each gun you want to buy, or $50 for each box of ammo extra tax. So he says how they can do that. And what you going to do then? I mean, what are we going to do? That's the point. There's so much we can tolerate. And I think the bandits, they did the right thing. They ignore it. And the people understood that next is going to be happening to them. Because, if tomorrow I say, my Gannuscio, let's say I'm a vegetarian, okay? I don't care about Gannuscio. I don't eat meat. Okay. Tomorrow they're going to come with me anyway, for me anyway. I mean, we're all going to be somehow in line if we don't stand up for our fellow men and women in this situation like that. That's
I
the way I
agree.
look at this. So anyway, Mike, go ahead. I'm talking too much. Please go ahead.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead, please. If you have a question, come here, please. You gotta,
I have a-
no, you gotta come here. Come. And talk to him. Not for me. Ask for him. He's the guest.
Why is it that we can sell land to foreigners, but if we try to go to a foreign land and buy land, no bueno? We can't do it.
They don't want us there. They don't want us to have the land.
Any special government you're thinking about? Maybe Mexico? I don't know.
Specifically China.
China? Why you want to go to China? Are you kidding me?
I'm just wondering why, I mean,
It's not all countries. You can buy land in Mexico. There's certain areas you can't.
get almost tax-free land and everything.
Come here.
They come here and they almost get tax-free land, but
because of what happened in the past.
yeah, we cannot go there and purchase anything. As a matter of fact, I don't believe they can purchase their own land.
Mike,
Depends on the country, I guess.
Mike is not an international
Yeah, I'm-
expert in country, but you
Nor
know,
am I a real estate agent.
Yeah. but you can ask him the price of alfalfa. I think he can give you a good answer. Okay.
That I can.
But listen, no, seriously, I heard that in Mexico, for example, let's say I'm on the coast or any part that's supposed to be touristic. You know, I have some friends that wanted to buy a little apartment or something. They can lease it for 100 years or something, but they not really technically can have the deed in their name. Like,
We're gonna repeat the housing bubble.
okay,
again.
shh, come here,
Situation in
shh, come
California.
here.
That's what I wanna know, are we going
Shh.
to repeat?
1 second. I'm the host. I dictate like a dictator here. You want to talk? Vince from Kingman. You got the
I
floor.
wanna know if we're gonna repeat the housing mortgage bubble that they had in California, bust out the banks, and then the feds are gonna pay off all the bankers again to take the money out of the country and devalue our dollar and take all the property back for free. Then everybody loses their mortgage money, their down payment, their life, their home, their job. What's this game, man? We're gonna jump from state to state till we hit all 50 of them, or what?
Okay.
And blow out the whole country, and they're gonna.
Are
take
you
it for free?
asking to Mike?
I'm asking your opinion.
Okay, no. To asking to me or asking to
Well,
Mike?
anybody's opinion
Okay,
in the room.
because I tell you already, I have no idea. I mean, I agree with you, but I have no idea how to fix this till we have the traders in Washington. Now, how can we do that? That's not part of the show because I would be too extreme. Let's go, Mike. What do you think? Any idea about Vince's questions? How would you fix that with your expertise in alfalfa tracking and?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's completely out of my expertise, but
But
you
have an
can
idea.
see the inflation in the market. The housing
Mhm.
market's going up. It can't keep going up the way it is and sustain.
Yeah.
At some point, it's got to plateau, drop off, crash something. It's not going to keep rising the way it is. It's just not logical.
All right. Now, question, Mike. I also know that beside that, your business before, when you were a little younger, you also were. You just told me before that you were a sheriff deputy in Mojave County.
I was a resident deputy of
Yeah.
Meadview and Dolan Springs.
So that's interesting because I'm sure you saw the last 20 years how maybe the relationship between, I call peace officer because for me a sheriff, even a police, supposed to be his first role, a peace officer, a person sworn to protect and defend the individual rights and also keep the peace. Now it seems like everything becomes like law enforcement. That means like a multitask, ticket collecting machine, especially since the private jail is kind of a big business. And we have contracts, the government has contracts with this private business most of the times to keep their 99% or 90% ratio of customers filling that, facility. Otherwise they get sued like in Colorado. It seems like, this is just my impression, that sometimes the law enforcement is forgetting the main role to protect and defend the rights of the individual and keep the peace, but becomes more like almost rent a cop.
Well, you have two issues there.
Tell me
So one, private prisons,
Mhm.
law enforcement really has nothing to do with that at all. That's all government.
Yes.
As far as the relationship between law enforcement, it'll boil back to a leadership thing and what the expectations of each agency is. But the primary goal of every agency, at least should be, is one, safety, and two, community support.
Mhm.
So, you have a class of people, and it's not saying that it's bad, that just don't like law enforcement.
Mhm.
So then you wind up with some law enforcement officers that make it a quest to win that person over, to make them, like and get along, or at least tolerate law
Mhm.
enforcement, so that we can work together when we have issues. So the ultimate goal would be to have every person that way, keep cops in schools, keep it friendly with kids, let them know that cops aren't there to be the bad guys. You want them to be the good guys. And
I look at this like, law enforcement, the first thing they do is to take an oath, to defend the Constitution and the
Yes.
laws. But the Constitution is always the supreme law of the land.
you're right.
And that for me, the law enforcement I support. When I see somebody say, this is the oath I took, and first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the amendments, they're part of it. So the problem is now we have politicians that they're always making new laws that they're going to criminalize things that used to be maybe just a fine or maybe just, I don't know, re- let's say slap on the wrist, things like that. Now, hey, you forgot to bring your book back to the library. I was reading a couple years ago that she got like they came with a SWAT team at the house. And she got, no, seriously, she got arrested. Maybe 10 years ago, say, you know what, you got to pay a fine and that's it and move on. Now it seems like every time they can, and this is not the police. I'm talking about the legislators. They're pushing more and more laws to fulfill through lobbies because the lobbies are working nonstop. Remember, if the lobbies they are working for private jail, they want more and more restriction, more laws that you can break. We have now so many laws that we don't even know. We may break every time. And the point is, when you have a law enforcement that truly just law enforcement, for example, I'll give you an example. This is my opinion, of course. Safety belt. Okay.
I'm sorry, what was it?
A safety belt.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, do you believe that you are in control and you own your body unless you are endangering somebody else? That's the question.
Well, I do own my body and I am in control of it.
Good. Unless you are endangering somebody else. Pretty much the principle of live, let live. And this is my body. Now, do I believe that the safety belt can help me? Probably yes. In some situation, it can save my life. But some situation, I also decide maybe it's not the time because maybe it can be dangerous for me. I can be stuck. Maybe I have a medical condition. It can hurt me. Just maybe I don't care. I'm stupid.
Are you talking about a safety vest?
No, safety belt. Belt.
Oh, in a car.
In the car.
Okay.
Sorry, probably I was not clear. So my point I'm trying to say now, that's supposed to be my decision as an individual, if I want to be responsible or not, if I want to wear it. Now, when I have law enforcement,
I'm going to disagree with you.
and that's fine. That's why I want you here.
But let me explain.
Go ahead, please.
So in a car, if you're the driver,
Yes.
you should be responsible to wear that seatbelt because if you lose the control of that car and you
Mhm.
get thrown through that car, you can't control it anymore.
Okay.
And then you put somebody else's life at risk.
Okay.
If you wear that safety belt and you have problems, lose control, accident, whatever, you're still in front of the steering wheel and you can still maintain some type of control of the car.
Okay. You got a good point there, I must tell you. Now, let me give you my other review. I like that. This is great. Now, let's go from another angle. And I can argue about that, but I don't want to argue. I want to just get you another one, the helmet. Now, Arizona, I know that you don't have to wear the helmet. And I tell you, the helmet probably is very good. I truly believe that can save your head, okay? I still believe this is my head. If I want to crack it, I got my money to pay for my insurance, life insurance, everything. Maybe I don't want the helmet. I go in probably 90% of the states. If I have no helmet, I will be pulled over and probably even get my bike confiscated if I don't have a helmet.
And that's why we live in the great state of Arizona.
So that's a good point. But the same concept, the same concept. At the same study, they can say, no, this is my head. Now, back to the belt. I can tell you one thing. The moment that I have the belt, you think I really truly can be sure that I'm gonna be there? I have people that they got their head cut off with a belt, or they have a serious situation. So can be argued. But my point is, it shouldn't be a point that, like, for example, I should have, like for the helmet, because they use the same principles be using for the helmet. The helmet says the government tells you this is good for you.
I agree on the law stating that if you're over 18, you have the choice.
Yeah.
Under 18, maybe you don't have the life skills to know what you want. I agree with 18 and under wearing a
I
helmet.
agree with you. I agree with you. 18, I should be able to decide if I want to join the army, if I want to, smoke, maybe, or drink, no, because I think it's 21. At the same time, about the helmet. But in many states, now, forget about Arizona, it's an exception. That's great. The state uses the same principle. That technically knows what is better for you. And that's what pisses me off, because I believe that it shouldn't be a government decide, because the same concept now is the Obamacare or the healthcare. You must buy that healthcare, overpriced, of course. You see where we at. They started with something innocent like the seatbelt, and then went with the helmet, and now, of course, they tell you if you don't buy the healthcare, we fine you. Meanwhile, of course, we give it for free to illegal aliens. That's another story.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, but that's good. At least if you have anything that you disagree with me, I love it. And please come here, and I'd like to engage with you. Okay. Uh, Chris, come here. Maybe please questions to the guest because I've been talking too much. Come here. Go ahead, please. Hold it.
Actually, I have two questions. In your opinion, is Sheriff Schuster a constitutional sheriff?
I think Sheriff Schuster could be more constitutional.
All right. And give me a second question.
Well, in light of what's going on around the country with police and the crime, this is the most thankless job there is, a deputy sheriff or a police officer. And I still think I'm just in such admiration for police officers who go out there every day and risk their life and now risk their, I mean, maybe they'll go to jail for arresting someone or shooting someone. So what is your opinion on all this craziness that's going on right now with law enforcement and crime that's this just it's just allowed to run rampant? I guess we're just supposed to say, oh well, just let them do what they want, and I wouldn't blame a police officer who refused to go on a call.
Well, thankfully, I know not one law enforcement officer that got into this career to be thanked. Everybody that I know got into it for the right reasons. We just want to help. We want to be involved with the community and try and make it better, enforce the laws that need to be enforced. I think that we owe everything to what our law enforcement does. With no law enforcement, we would just be in complete chaos. So I can't say anything bad about our boys in blue. I love everything they do for us.
You know,
I
Mike,
miss the job.
if I can say something, the problem is not even that we would be anarchy, because anarchy would be the bad boys, they would take it back. I mean, they would get some back, okay? The problem is that they enforce the law only when you defend yourself. Because if it's truly, like, for example, look at Portland, okay, Washington, D.C., even Washington, D.C., but mostly, like the Oregon stuff, Portland, and, Seattle. Police, they're told to stand off, stand down, okay? They can do it. Meanwhile, all the private people, businesses being burned. If I was a police officer there, I would say, you know what, can do this. But at the same time, they're following the orders from the mayor. This is a communist, we know that. But the moment that the private individual, since the state is not coming to fulfill his duty, protect and defend their rights, the property rights, start to use their means to defend themselves, oh, I'm sure they will come. They will come. They're also done. I mean, there were people in criminal cases. A reporter, just because he brandished a weapon when he was surrounded by 20 Antifa idiots, he spent now 10 years in jail. So the problem is that true anarchy is not good. I don't like that. I would like to have a small government, Republican form of government, like is limited and essential. But sometimes I wonder, this is what they're really trying to force, is not even anarchy, that at least you have a chance to defend yourself, but they want these control parties, like in this case their people, to fulfill the agenda to destroy. And now the final goal is to federalize the police. You know that? Are you familiar with that, Mike?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think every entity, i.e. a city, a county, everything should be left to the states to run.
Mhm.
I don't believe in federalizing, say, the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office is elected by the people, for the people,
Mhm.
and it should stay that way. It keeps control. It makes it where the government wants to enter our county. Each sheriff has the right to stand at that state line or county line and say, you are not coming in here,
Mhm.
period. And it was put that way for the people, and it should stay that way.
And that's exactly the way I think about. They're using all these. Any other thing, Chris, you want to say? Okay.
Well, yes, I do say.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, police.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Look, I got a card here. We have a proof. We had last Friday Michael Costers, our show from German Society, and I'm renewing my membership too, by the way. Okay.
I
Oh,
missed that.
you missed that.
I was gonna come see that. I hit a deer.
That's oh my God. Hopefully you didn't break too much of your truck.
Actually, the door of my truck got smashed.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yeah, I got run over by a deer
Can be very dangerous. What happened in the close to your home in your area? Or
1 mile from my house.
wow, wow. Well, this can be very deadly. Some people die over that. But Lisa, what I was saying, yes, I believe, as you said, the idea is to decentralize as much as possible. That's the way this country was created. To create true freedom, you need to have check and balances, and the decentralization is part of it. And unfortunately, what they're trying to do now is to put the federal control on everything. That was the ultimate Hitler dream, a European government at the time under the central command of Germany.
Right.
And now Washington, in my opinion, is the new Nazi land. This is still me talking, okay? Any other questions from my guest? And
I'm gonna be brave and ask one.
go ahead, please.
Come on up.
What's your name?
Stephanie,
Stephanie, come here, Stephanie.
it's for you because you mentioned the sustainable cities.
Okay.
Do you believe in the buy-ins and buyouts that they are portraying for this to actually happen? Their plan to
Explain better about buy-in, buy-out. What do you
I'm
mean?
talking buy-ins, buyouts at a because you talked about the United Nations, and I know a little bit about that.
Okay.
And they manipulate the situation. Like my phone, for instance, is Samsung, and so it has global nations goals on there, right? So it makes it like it's helping us. So it's like a form of manipulation. So is that really a thing? Do you think China is really trying to come over and
But I truly see one thing. Now, there are some nations that are playing like a role, like they are they're chosen like the new, let's say, winners into this new global government. And China definitely is one. China is set like, and by the way, this is nothing new. Since the 70s, since you see, for example, President, what is the name? The one that was impeached. Forgot the name. Give me a break. Come on, the one that was
Clinton?
no before that, the Republican president Nixon. Nixon when he started to open the doors really to China, and the point is China has been chosen like the one that now is going to rule as a model. The Rockefeller, David Rockefeller, wrote in. By the way, these people, they are not just some billionaires, trillionaires. These people control governments, and they put it out. China is the new model. Now, China, if you look at the fact, is being chosen to be the lender, and wherever is the lender, there is also the person that he owes money. And this has been act of treason, in my opinion. Since the Clinton, when we gave him, of course, the technology, they gave him our technology. That was the first terrible act of treason. But even worse now, we have to borrow money from China. Then we give them back, and we pay the interest. This is not me talking. This is an official statement from Senator Rand Paul that the latest trillions that we somehow put out for what we get $1,600, $1,500 maybe, and meanwhile you had people, country like I don't know, Israel, 50 billions. I mean, the citizen of Pakistan, $20,000 a piece. More important, China got part of this money. So the point is, there is a real plan, according to the United Nations, to create a new world that it's all level. So there is no more just one broke country, and America is the kind of this wealthy country. Now everybody's going to be little broke or broke enough, and to create this sort of a level. When you put water, it's going to fill all the holes. It's going to be all level. And America, according to the plan, needs to be destroyed from within. That's why they're racking our credit card like crazy. So we're going to be in a very condition of poverty. America first wasn't just a slogan. It was trying to take care of who we are as a result of fruit of our labor, of our ideas, of 200 years of freedom. Now they need to say, screw that. You're too selfish. Whatever you've done, we need to share with the rest of the world. This is the United Nations talking. It's not me, and it's factual. Now, Agenda 21, or now they call it Agenda 2030, is the instrument. It is all code. I mean, you can buy the book. I got the book, Agenda 2030. They wrote it down. They tell you what is the plan. And that's part of the meat that now they're pushing so hard. It is nothing crazy. It's just part of the agenda. They've been talking about that for 30, 40 years ago. Did you ever watch the TV series called America with a K from the 80s, with a TV series?
No.
I would like, please, one thing you can do the next few days, go on YouTube. Before they take it out completely. In 1982 or something like that, CBS did a mini TV series called America with a K, featuring two big stars at the time. One was Robert Urich. Remember the actor Robert Urich?
Yeah.
And the other was Christopher Christopherson. This was the most prophetic, that wasn't by accident, by the way, let's say like almost a blueprint of things to happen to America. Let me put it this way. Russia And the United Nations complained so much about the TV series that they had to pull it off the air. Not only that, normally they always do, DVD or VHS or whatever. The project was shut down. The producer died mysteriously in a fire in his house. The master was burned in the house, but we have now still some bootleg copies out there. I bought one a few years ago. I paid $100 for some burned DVDs. Okay, $100 10 years ago on eBay, because a friend of the producer was able to put out a backup, and this is still around. You can watch this on YouTube, and I please invite you, because it's not some sort of entertainment. This is all the things that 1982 or 1983 you have no idea to even think. With no internet, the world global government was even really out there. You never would imagine that America would be with United Nations troops on the soil. You never would imagine that America was divided by FEMA regions. You never imagined that we were worshiping a communist form of government. You never imagined that the average American farmer that was shut down to 2 acres or so, because you're too selfish, you don't need all the rest. And so many other things, like from the soy burger. I was freaking out. I watched it again the other day. Now they are all pushing for this, GMO plastic burger.
Well, there was a restaurant, a fast food restaurant
Mhm.
that was going to sell all of that.
Okay.
Nothing but vegetable burgers. And it didn't take long before they went back to real burgers.
I'm sure. But the point is, one thing was vegetable. I said, okay, you want to put some beans and stuff like that? Okay. It may taste different. I don't care. They don't even give you vegetable. They give you
Soy.
soy, GMO, even worse. There's so much chemicals and stuff and estrogen that the thing is disgusting. It makes you, by the way, you become a woman, by the way. There is a theory that it is not a theory. They want to reduce the population of the world. Are you familiar with that? You think it's too crazy?
Some of it is, but
Okay.
you look at though, people are fighting back for exactly what you're saying. I mean,
Mhm.
you look at the grass-fed beef industry;
Hmm.
it's shooting through the roof.
I know, because people understand it. They're waking up.
I have a list of people
Mhm.
they just wait. They're in line. They want the next one.
Tell me something about. So you sell beef directly to the public?
I do.
Let's advertise a little bit. What is the name of the website people want to buy from?
Oh,
you?
I don't have a website. Everything's always been word of mouth. I've never had to do
So
any of that.
just call Mike Gannuscio on the phone.
You just
Well,
call
that's
Mike
great.
Gannuscio or call my
Well,
wife.
that's
Jenna.
great. Listen, to have in Mojave County a direct source, you don't need to go through the Safeway or all these different companies to buy directly fresh meat. That you tell me also you do grass fed.
Grass-fed. There's several of us.
Wow.
You have there's I think there's 4 cattle companies that I know of, and I'm sure there's more in Mojave County that do sell grass-fed beef, and it's wonderful beef.
No, I agree with you. Listen, this is the only way I would eat meat, because right now the problem is, and Paul, you're an expert more than I am. If I buy the regular industrial meat, okay, you know that they have to follow some sort of deadlines, and more important, there is a little bit of profit to consider. There's nothing wrong with me. I like profit, but the point when you start to put profit before the health of people. If I had to put a cow that I because I want to make it weight faster and get bigger, and I start to fill it up with chemical food, or at least soy or grains that they are made probably GMO, and it's not good, because whatever they eat, we're gonna eat. And then of course start to put them estrogen. I'm pretty familiar with that. Normally women have estrogen. If I pump up my cows with estrogen, the estrogen will be in their meat. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
And when I eat their meat, I'm going to get some estrogen too, right?
Yes.
So that's, I think, the problem with the industrial meat that is not grass fed, because you think you're having a piece of meat. No, you're having a kind of a pharmaceutical, chemical list of ingredients. Growth hormone is bad too. It's going to get impart into your body. And that's why you see many people, you see people 50 years ago having, meat and potatoes. They were healthy. They were, forget about cholesterol. They were doing great. They will work outside, of course, more, but still, the meat was meat. I bet everything you get now, ground meat from the average store, unless it's grass-fed, you're eating garbage. What do you think? Am I too extreme?
Well, it's not garbage,
Well,
but it's not as healthy.
yeah, okay.
I'll take beef that's raised in a
Yeah.
in a in a feedlot
Yeah, let's put it this way.
over a veggie burger any day.
Oh, veggie burger, I wouldn't give it to a dog, but I wouldn't give to a dog even a McDonald's burger, okay? I'm sorry, because that's not meat. That stuff is from China, number one. By the way, did you know that McDonald's, and I'm sorry, McDonald's, if you get offended, but I don't really care. It's true. It was in the news. They renewed their contract to get their source of meat from China. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It was in the news, mainstream Yahoo News. McDonald's renewed the contract to get the source of meat from China. So now think about for a moment, if you eat McDonald's, don't throw up, please. They're getting meat from some place that they hate us, by the way, supposedly, they do. But more important, you have no control and no idea what exactly, when they grind that thing, we don't even know what it is, what you're eating. And by the way, they did an analysis of McDonald's stuff. There is so much non-organic. I'm not talking about grass-fed organic. I'm talking about things that are supposed to be maybe in, I don't know, in some sort of mine lab. Okay, I mean petroleum. I mean chemicals, things that they are not for human consumption. So the point is, this average meat from these big burgers companies, they're terrible for you. I mean,
And that's why the local rancher
they're doing
is,
better.
is going way up, because the communities and the public sees
Well,
that you're getting way better beef when you just buy your own cow or buy a half a cow. You know,
mhm.
you have to find the right person that grows it the way you want it.
For the price of today's market, if I wanted to buy, let's say, half cow, how much money we're talking? I'm just curious. It's good to know this information.
Between $4 and $6 a pound for half a cow.
Okay, so how many pounds the average you would get?
Uh, 270 to 300 pounds.
Okay, and then you got a place that they cut it for you, or you do that as an extra job, like the,
No, I don't do it.
Yeah.
You still have to follow the law.
okay, how does it
So
work?
if you buy a beef from me
Mhm.
and you want me to process it, I have to find a certified
Okay, processor.
processor. But if you buy a cow,
You can do whatever you want.
you can take it to a local processor, as long as it's
Okay,
your deal.
Yeah.
And they'll process it for you. And they're still monitored by the state. It's a little bit different, but
I see.
it's cheaper for the public to do
I
it that
see.
way,
Butcher
because
your own cow now?
you
No,
can
it's called kosher butchering law.
you can butcher your own cow.
Okay, interesting. If you have any question, Vince, come here.
Well, we got off on.
Okay,
cow.
come here 1 second. Mike, here.
I have a point, because the UN forces, to me, and I'm not trying to change the subject. I appreciate what you're doing for the community. It's incomprehensible to me that we could have to worry about in the United States of America, the UN forces coming in here, and we should maybe have another time, not dinner, where we show them in full regalia what they might be wearing, possibly, because they'll probably be infiltrating, wear civilian clothes the way things are going. Could be your neighbor, could be anybody,
You're right. And by the way, I have some, glad you brought it up. I know this is sound like conspiracy, but you know that during the elections, we had for the first time, really officially, Chinese troops massed in Canada working with Trudeau. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
And Trump, President Trump, one of the last things he did, he was just during the election time, we had the full display of our West and East Coast, Coast Guard, Navy. We were ready for an invasion. That was in the news too. We never had the type of exercise like in this level of things. Now, China, Russia, and you want to call them the United Nations, by the end of the day, the player is going to be China mostly at this point. They've been playing with us between the north and, more important, the southern border for the last 20 years. We had many witnessing also from another book. I would like to, in case you can find it on Amazon, The Silent Invasion by Gulbranson. The book now it's a collectible. The guy almost got killed. It was a independent reporter and putting out information or witnessing from the border patrol of military or paramilitary individuals working in groups in black uniform, south of the border with California, Texas, Arizona too, but mostly was in California, that they didn't look like Mexican at all, were all Oriental or blonde, and were speaking Chinese or Russian. And there was also a case that was also on Fox News for a day or two, that two border patrol, they were followed, they were chased in the US soil by this group of soldiers, Chinese looking. Now, this journalist that now is disappeared, by the way. His second book never made it through. He reported in Senada all the different Chinese activities. They have a great infrastructure. They bought pretty much all the part of the Mexico there, and uh, and they weren't just transporting containers with the, food or whatever merchandise, weapons. As you said, they were found border patrols at the lowest level. They were trying to whistleblowing. There were cargoes of AK-47 being shipped through the borders of San Diego, and they were told, "Shut down, shut up, don't look, let them go." And this is pretty much before, we know the story now that is true under Obama, this gun business between Mexico and the fake gun sales, I forgot the name of the technical. Anyway, yeah, exactly. Fast and Furious, whatever it was. So we know this is something they've been doing now. But the point is, there is truly a plan, in my opinion, that China can become the next invading force. Are you concerned about that?
Well, everybody should be
Yeah.
concerned to a point.
But you think
The
that
great thing is the United States has the biggest army in the world. If you just gather
Mhm.
all of our all our licensed hunters are bigger than any
Okay,
army anyway.
that's true. But that's why I think they're working so hard and diligently in Washington to be sure that the next maybe 1 year or so, I call it like the onions layers, they're going to remove slowly, slowly that basic American right, human right to keep and bear arms in a privilege. Because if the bill that now Washington wants to go through, only if you can afford $800 of insurance, you can have the privilege to have a weapon. More important, you will be in the registry.
And that's where our country needs to vote that stuff out. And the great thing is each individual state has the right to kibosh every bit of that. So from your federal level down to your state level, we need to pick the right people to make sure that doesn't happen, and it's not allowed here.
And I agree with you, Lisa. That's why I like to support any type of local, state, even federal, if there was one, of course. But more important now, state, we have much more control, in my opinion. Like, we had the beautiful bill that was signed by the governor just a few days ago for the sanctuary Second Amendment bill. Biasucci, excuse me, Representative Biasucci was one of the leader in this one. So I believe, yes, there is still so much we can do at state level. We cannot give up, but at the same time, I see the big puzzle. It is freaky because these people in Washington, they're working as hard as possible to remove every type of layer of security for this country for the final attack. And I know it sounds crazy, but I truly believe, like Japan, when they had the chance to go unpunished, they attacked. They didn't foresee the consequences, but they did. If China, with the 1 billion people, that they don't know how to get rid of them, there are too many, you know that. So when you have that type of population, in their mind, they need to start to say, okay, we can relocate 20 million to colonize. The Romans, that's what they used to do. All over Europe, they were there and they became part of the empire. If you look in history, we had the Egyptians, you got the Romans, you got the Greeks, you got the French Empire, you got the British Empire. America, somehow, even in a different way, is considered the superpower, and it led for the last at least 100 years. So now, in their mind, the Red Dragon, the Chinese, is the new empire. And they have already now, they're smart. They go for the final checkmate. They don't go when they think they can win 100%. They got all the technology because they paid off our politicians. Let's not forget Senator Frankenstein, Air 8 was just arrested last year for treason. He's a Chinese spy. And I would say he works for Senator. I would like to know, Senator, are you part of it? And many other people we know they're part in the Chinese pocket. Look at Biden, Hunter, and Biden, the pedophile and blah, blah, blah. So my point is, what I'm trying to say, this is not something we can underestimate. As much as it seems freaky, we got to be prepared. Because the enemy, I think, it's already within our walls. It is not outside the borders. It's here. They open the gates. They are in Washington. They are creating as much economic damage, moral damage, anything they can do. And now they want our guns. Because they know when they can put everyone guns on the list. When the Germans came in Italy, and Italy wasn't like a right. You don't have like, I got guns. And yeah, if you're in the mafia, you don't need to have a permit. You just get your guns, okay?
Right.
But if you're a law-abiding person, even for the hunting shotgun, you must have a license. And I remember, because my grandfather was there. The first time when the German came, they started to go to the police records. Every gun owner in town, they were at their door so fast, not knocking, breaking the freaking doors and knocking them out and say, "Where is your shotgun? Where is your shotgun? Where is your gun? We know who you are." The gun, they were gone in 2 weeks. That's what can happen when you have 20 million potentially force. Red Dawn wasn't just a movie. In my opinion, it was a documentary. Because I would like to ask, when you have most of our men and women overseas, spread around the world, in San Diego, you have maybe 5,000 Marines in training, few hundred border patrols. This new Secretary of Defense, that is a communist, by the way, he said in public, you know the guy, General, I don't know if you're familiar with his name, but it's in the news, you can figure it out. We need to reduce and remove our army because our armed force will be replaced by China. This is our new Secretary of Defense, appointed by Biden. This is not me, the extreme guy talking, okay? You can figure it out. So we are completely in a situation, I truly believe, I don't want to be dramatic. I like to have a glass of wine and relax, but when I do this show, that's what I'm trying to do. Say, guys, wake up. This is not just about some political elections going bad. We have some Democrats that try to suck more money from us. These people are traders. Uh, 1 year from now, we may be looking at each other, maybe under the Wallapai Mountains, looking at, you have some potatoes to trade, give you a box of ammo. Okay, seriously. Maybe we can come to Mike. Hey, Mike, can we help you out to round up some cows? Give us a steak for dinner.
Sure. I just need you all to line my fence to keep everybody else out.
It's going to be different. It's going to be like that. That's why I truly believe. That's why the Social Contact Club, we envision here to find like-minded people, to start to network, to start knowing each other, supporting each other, our business. We don't need to agree on everything. I don't want that. But we know that we are free human beings. We are free Americans. We believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We believe in the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights. That should be enough to create our unity with all our differences. I don't care if you're black, white, orange, I don't care. Accent, no accent, that's good. You love America, we're here, we stand for our sovereignty, we are together.
Absolutely.
And that's the way I look at this. That's why I truly believe it's time to organize now. Find your local place where you can buy meat, because if tomorrow they cut the chain of production, because maybe Safeway is going to sell only soy burger stuff, and you want to eat some beef, find the source here. You got my Gannuscio. If you need to find somebody can help you out to, I don't know, gunsmith, find the source. Anything we can do. Mike, go ahead.
I think you pretty much covered everything.
Sorry, Mike. Well, go ahead.
Thank you. Poor Mike, have you solved all the problems of the world tonight?
Gosh,
Were you expecting all this?
it's a lot. He's a plethora of information.
He is, but that's great. Question for you. Somebody's got to ask it. Okay, it's a little early. Are you going to run for sheriff again?
Yes.
I'm definitely not throwing that off the plate.
Okay, good. Because this county needs to break out of the good old boy system, for some positions, and it sure would be great. So I wanted to ask if you were going to.
I don't believe in the boy system.
Good. Well, a lot of us hope you do. Okay,
you.
thank you.
All right. So now, Mike, I will promise you, I will shut up for 60 seconds. Anything you want to say? If you want to promote your business, if you want to talk about yourself, you want to just say whatever, you got the floor.
I'm just happy to be on your show. I'm having a good time here. You're full of information, a little crazy about some stuff, but I like it. You're a good guy.
Listen, I want to be proven to be crazy. I want to be proved. Everything I say today, prove me wrong, I will buy you a bag of Zana coffee out of my pocket.
You don't have to. I got one for myself.
I know, that's true. But in general, I really like when I say, you know what, Luca, let me prove you that you were wrong on that. And when I talk about this thing, you prove me wrong, I feel better at night. I go to sleep, I say, wow, one thing less to worry. Okay?
No, it's all about cause and effect.
No.
Everything has a cause and effect, and everything has to have some type of unity. And And that's one of the great things I see about your show is you want unity.
I want unity when it comes down to things that, I don't want to unite with the communists. I don't want to unite with the trader. I want to unite with people that believe in the basic concept of freedom in our republic. That's for sure. At the same time, we are coming now to a point now, guys. Seriously, this is a different crossroad. This is not more like, oh, you vote for Kennedy, I voted for the other one. This is about now, we are enforcing, we are criminals. And this is me talking. I truly believe criminals running this country. And there is no more justice. And the justice, unless he comes back, we are living under the illusion of freedom. This is serious stuff. Till Hillary is still running free and is laughing at us. And we know the FBI is being corrupted and they put in jail people just because they speak up their mind, and the IRS is used like an instrument of torture against political dissident. This is no more the republic we're supposed to be. So anyway, thank you, Mike, for coming. I appreciate it. I want to say everyone out there, thank you for listening. Please don't forget to come to the Social Contact Club. We are located at 3001 Stockton Hill Road, Kingman, Arizona. You can go to socialcontactclub.com, and don't forget, please, if you voted for Biden, I don't want you here. Please, I beg you, I don't want to make you feel bad at the door, but I will ask you some basic questions. Also, I have a room with water and board. It's called waterboard. In case I don't like your hands, I will waterboard you a little bit. And if I smell the freaking rat in you, you're going to be out so fast. Now, I believe in redemption. If you are a zombie who somehow saw the light, and you realize that you were an idiot, and you go and you're going to be able to say out loud in front of everyone, I was a moron, I voted for a communist spy, and guess what? I repent. I believe in repenting. So I may consider, after a little punishment, maybe a little extra, we're going to allow you maybe to roam around the club, and we'll put you on the scrutiny. So there is always hope, okay? Thank you very much. See you. Talk to you next Sunday, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Ciao. Thank you, Mike. Sorry, Mike, for that one.